And now, good citizens of Tyler County and guests, for your entertainment, we present three ancestral figures who are here to share their stories and their adventures in early Tyler County. Please sit back and prepare to be transported to the 19th century, where you will experience a new level of freshness. The aromatic freshness of air permeated with the scent of newly tilled soil. The inspiring freshness of pioneer faith kindled by men and women of God. And the visionary freshness of civic leaders who encourage their neighbors to invest themselves in projects to serve this community and all of Tyler County. Many's the time these good people wondered to themselves, am I courageous or I'm simply crazy? Let's hear their stories and then we can decide for ourselves whether they were courageous or crazy. First, may I introduce to you Nancy Tolar Shivers, who developed Magnolia Hills Farm from scratch. There she gave root to a civic-minded family, including her great-grandson, former Governor Alan Shivers. Tonight, we will join Nancy at the brand new T&S Railroad Depot in Woodville. On that hot summer day in 1883, folk from all around had gathered to celebrate the arrival of the Iron Horse. The festivities concluded with dancing all the way until dawn. But first there had to be a box lunch, followed by traditional speeches from the old timers. Each tottery old soul took the platform to reminisce over their pioneering experiences of breaking in their new land in Tyler County. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Nancy Tolar Shivers, a sight more spunky than tottery. Miss Nancy.
Crazy. You asked if I was crazy to uproot my family and move to Texas in 1858. Crazy to leave my home, a once fertile farm in Simpson County, Mississippi. Crazy to leave those gorgeous piney woods on our place and the tranquil, well, mostly tranquil waters of the Pearl River. Crazy to turn my back on everything I had known in trade for a yet-to-be-broken piece of land. Crazy to turn my back on everything I'd known again and again. Crazy to step out of the familiar comforts and step into building a new home place. I want you to know that meant work, and lots of it. Truly, I reckon I'd have been crazy not to do it. You see, my brother, John Phillips Tolar, was determined to go to Texas. Now, I could go or stay behind, but now he was going, period. Now, did I mention that during that time, I was a newly bereaved widow with a passel of youngins? Mind you, I was just 43 years old, and I had a lifetime of hard work waiting on me wherever I landed. So I traded work in a familiar place for work in the land of adventure. I figured work was work, and keeping together with my living kin was very important to me. Besides, the scouts who'd gone to Texas came back with glowing reports of, guess what? Towering pines, rivers and creeks all over the place. Now this might be a tall tale. They said if it weren't for the hills, a person could stand in the midst of those pines and see all the way to the Pacific Ocean. They said the land was just that clear. They talked about wild horses being captured and tamed, and now they bragged about wildlife of every kind just waiting to find its way into my cooking pots. Oh, and Mercy the best. They talked about the price of land, and I want you all to know it was cheap. Very cheap. Wow. So I'd have been plumb downright crazy to turn my back on such an opportunity. Besides, along with all that work came the promise of some fun. The scouts told us about the dancing that followed the barn raisins and such work. And they talked about folks coming together to roll logs and build a new cabin for a neighbor. Now, when I say neighbor, I am not talking about somebody whose place you could see from your front stoop. No, I am talking about those nice people who invited you to leave your place at the crack of dawn and travel a far distance to their place to work all day. And I tell you what, then you would have to stay all night because it was too far and the teams moved too slow to get home before dark. The men would spend the day heaving logs, notching the ends together so they fit just right. And now the ladies spent this time cooking up a mountain of food that I imagine would be just like home. There would be fried chicken, dumplings, butter beans, corn, some kind of greens, fresh tomatoes and cucumbers, and Mercy Maud biscuits just dripping in freshly churned butter. No meal was ever complete without those biscuits. And of course, there'd be cobbler to top it all off. The scouts said that when the last crumb was wiped away and everyone got their second wind, oh, mercy, then the dancing would begin. First, some shuffle, and then some double shuffle. And by this time, everyone is warmed up and ready to go on with those pretty dancing. Waltzes, reels, cotillions, and quadrilles. Oh my, it sounded like so much fun. Well, in the end, my decision to move to Texas came pretty easy. You see, my older children, my boys and girls, were big enough to help. They could help clear the land, build us a cabin, and tend to the livestock, and help raise the crops we'd need to survive. My help would go along and take care of the little ones and teach them to do the smaller chores. Yes, I would go to Texas and never look back. I was young enough to see my way clear to a future time when my children were grown with families of their own. The boys would become farmers and the girls would be teachers. They would take responsibility in the church and civic affairs. Maybe, just maybe, I've lived long enough to see them pass on to their children our family traditions. Love God and family, work to earn your salt every day, and share whatever blessings came our way, be they meager or abundant. Texas would be a fine place to settle with my family. John said, "Nancy, I have found you the just right piece of land in a place called Tyler County, and it joins a lovely creek lined with cypress trees. Best of all, it isn't too flat, but has gentle rolling hills surrounded by long leaf pines, and my favorite, magnolia trees." One day, the Shivers place might even be called Magnolia Hills.
Thank you, Miss Nancy. Next, I would like for you to meet Brother Henry Gaynor. Brother Henry is a man of deep faith. He was dignified on November the 3rd, 1867, and became the first Negro minister to be ordained in all of the state of Texas. This ordination occurred right here in Tyler County at the Beach Creek Baptist Church, which is still today near present-day Spurgeon, Texas. Tonight, Brother Henry will join us as he shares his thoughts with his family and friends who came to celebrate the 10th anniversary of his being ordained. Please help me welcome Brother Henry Gaynor.
Deep river, my home is over Jordan. Deep river, Lord, I want to cross over into campground. Don't you want to go to the gospel feast, that promised land where all is peace? Oh, deep river, Lord, I want to cross over into campground. Evening, my brothers and sisters in Christ. Now, you all know that I'm the servant to Colonel Gaynor. But what many of you don't know is how I become to be your pastor. I became the servant to Colonel Gaynor right here in Town Bluff community, right here in Tyler County. But I have the time this evening to tell you the story. And it started long before I come to Texas. Singing about crossing over into Deep River, into campground, bring to my recollection many sights and sounds from the olden days of North Carolina, when our masters were feeling kindly and the crops was laid by. Sometimes we gathered around the campfires with other slaves from other plantations. We would sing and sway to the beat. We would gather around the firelight. We sing about our lives as they were then and hope for better lives in the future. Now, most songs like Do Lord, full of life and energy. We clap our hands, we tap our toes, and fairly belted out the words about our home in glory land that outshines the sun. But some songs were mournful, like Deep River. That song used regular words to share a secret message. Other folks heard about us singing, crossing over into a deep river, and they thought we were talking about dying and going to heaven. That was okay for them. But we knew the secret message was about crossing over the Underground Railroad. Many slaves risked their lives to make their way to safety. Some headed to the Ripley Station near the Ohio River. Runaways who got that far, they prayed for moonless nights with no wind at all. Then they could watch the faint light over near the treacherous river. They prayed for a sweet chariot with a band of angels coming to take them home across a river for haven and safety. Now, that kind of risk, it held no appeal for me. My master, Colonel Gaynor, was a kindly fellow. He did not make me want to run away. In fact, he was a man of God, and he took care of me and my family. Now, surely we worked from sun up to sundown, but he saw to it that we had a clean and dry place to sleep and plenty of food to eat. We had shoes and clothes for the wintertime. And on Saturday, he stopped work at noon so we would have plenty of time to wash up and get ready for Sunday church. I never did learn to read or write, but I had plenty of good learning anyway. Colonel Gaynor would allow his children to read the Bible to us. On long summer nights, summer days, just past daylight, we would stretch out under an old shady tree, and his children would read the same verses to us over and over and over again. We soon laid those words in our hearts and could quote them when we needed some encouragement. We learned about old Daniel in the lion's den. We learned about the 3 young men who survived the fiery furnace. And we learned about old Jonah. I got a fine education from the good book. Judge Blanchett, I learned that if God had a plan for you, it was best that you stick to that plan. On the day Colonel Gaynor told us that he was planning to move to Texas, I was not surprised at all. The war had made such of a mess of our home places in the South. A lot of folks with gumption were packing and heading west where they could get a fresh start. I held my breath. Maybe he would take us along. Maybe we could cross over to that peaceful place. Now, he did not make us wait long before saying that he would need some good men to help him build his new home. And it was our choice to go and stay. But that was no choice for me. Commissioner Nash, that ferry that took us across the Nature's River to Town Bluff, it looked like a true chariot to me. It carried us to our new home where we went to work right away, breaking land and building Colonel Gaynor's new home. 6 days we worked, and on Sunday it was going to meeting day. We joined the Beach Creek Baptist Church where the white folks sat up front and us colored sat at the back. It was not long till the deacons learned that I knew the word, after they got over the fact of being surprised that a little color boy that neither could read nor write knew every part of the Bible and could quote every verse. On that day, Sue Sanders, they put a question to me. If I would agree to be an ordained Baptist pastor, and they would let me have a church for all the colored folks in my parts. For sure, I knew right then and there that I had truly crossed over into campground I did not know much about preaching, but I figured God would take care of that in due time. I did not have to think about what happened to old Jonah to know that the good Lord had a plan for me. No whale's belly at all. No sirree. I dug deep into my stored courage and agreed to God's plan. I was not crazy. I could not read, but certainly I was not crazy.
Thank you, Brother Henry Gaynor. Finally, I'm honored to introduce Josiah Wheat, Jr. Josiah Wheat, Jr. was the youngest son of Dr. Josiah Wheat, who migrated to Texas in 1835. Dr. Wheat settled his family on the banks of the Neches River in the area that would come to be known as Town Bluff. He was appointed to the committee that would select a location for the county seat of government. Dr. Wheat saw beyond the existing Tyler County communities and envisioned a centrally located site yet to be cleared and platted as a town at the forks of Turkey Creek. Tonight we will join Josiah Jr. at the very site proposed by his father. A ceremony is being held to swear in newly elected county officials. Of course, in 1894, there had to be speeches at all public gatherings. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Josiah Wheat, Jr.
Good evening. I'm Josiah Wheat, Jr. I was about 3 years old, I guess, when my papa brought us to Texas. Most folk were coming here because of the free land. I think Papa came because he loved adventure. Of course, free land may have had something to do with it too, but in any case, he was a medical doctor and a fine farmer to boot. I've come here tonight to honor our newest county officials and our earliest county officials. If you'll bear with me, I'd like to read you a letter that my papa left for his descendants. And this letter may give us an idea of some of the events that led up to us having this fine, magnificent structure in which to conduct county business. It'll also give you an idea of the type of courage that these early pioneers had to have to come together and build the very first courthouse. December 1848. To my children, their children, and those that follow. As we look forward to the opening of our new Tyler County Courthouse, I challenge you to remember these wise words once shared with me by my own father. There is no limit to what can be done in small towns where there's a spirit of goodwill, which enables people to work together for the common good. Just roll those words around in your head for a moment or two. Father knew what it takes to build a strong community. He believed with all his heart that we could all be better off if we shared a spirit of goodwill and willingness to work together. Now, y'all remember this is my papa talking about what his father thought was important. He would be happy to see this new courthouse, a dignified two-story frame building, complete with water well and windmill. We have a fine house for our seat of county government, not because a few people wanted it, but because all the good people of Tyler County worked together. They shared resources and compromised so that all of us could benefit. It's no secret that choosing a location for the courthouse was a hot contest. The people of Town Bluff and Wolf Creek made good arguments in favor of the sites that they offered. The communities at Peachtree Village and Ogden were thriving, and they would have made good sites too. But in the end, the people agreed to accept my offer of 200 acres of totally uncleared land. Why? Not because it was easy to build a town where there wasn't one, but because it was right in the center of the county. That way, no man would have to ride more than one day on horseback to conduct county business. A central location benefited everyone. Well, with the decision made, the work began. The Collier boys laid out a road connecting Town Bluff to the soon-to-be town of Woodville. The Enlow and Sturrock families from Billings Creek near Ogden donated the lumber and hauled it 20 miles with ox teams. First elected officials came from all over the county. There were names like Pettigo, Barkley, Parsons, all showed up on the first ballots. Well, men with an eye for commerce also relocated from outlying farms to meet the needs of the folk doing business at the courthouse. Look around, you see what they're building. They're building hotels and mercantile stores and saloons, log houses for their families. I'm sure a church will come soon. So I close as I began with a challenge. Be people of goodwill, pay attention to the needs of the community, and then go to work with your fellow citizens and make good things happen. With much love and hope for your bright future, I remain Josiah Wheat, Sr., medical doctor, farmer, and proud citizen of Tyler County. Yes, I applaud right along with you. We can join in the celebration of this earliest courthouse, and yet we know that there's more festivities to come. You and I can reflect on even more county accomplishments. My papa didn't live to see his prediction come true, but he was right. The churches would spring up around the courthouse. But until then, the courthouse was a meeting spot for everything. They had worship services and Masonic meetings, schools, dances, and of course, official court business as well. Well, by 1856, the operations for conducting county business had outgrew the simple but dignified courthouse building, and again the people came together, plan and work so that the future needs would be met. The structure they provided served well for over 30 years. Notable events of that era range from the distinguished to the dishonorable. County officials were sworn into office, and the judges conducted ceremonies where young couples stated their solemn vows of matrimony. Commissioners Court conducted the people's business and ensured that the roads and bridges were safe passage for the travelers in the county. Evidence of poor judgment from the many customers of the saloons in the area led to court cases being brought for gambling, assault, murder, and theft. And all in all, events developed in a rather routine fashion. But time marched on. And the good people of Tyler County decided that they needed a more permanent house in which to conduct county business. They were encouraged by a legislative act that allowed counties to sell bonds for the purpose of building new courthouses. The bonds were sold, $30,000 was in hand, and the architects and contractors did their work. And so it was that in 1891, only 3 years ago, and only 3 years after our Capitol was completed in Austin, that the groundwork was laid for this magnificent red brick structure to come into being. The gables, the chimney flues, the bell and the clock tower, the spire crowned over the lower stories with their graceful windows and majestic doorways. Surely this was the most magnificent edifice in all of Southeast Texas. Well, other improvements followed. With encouragement from the citizens, the commissioners voted to remove the gallows from the courthouse. They had it right out there on the lawn, and it was just didn't go with this new building. They enacted an order also that protects the new clean floors from bloodstains. There was to be no shooting in the courthouse. Not in any room or any hall, and the sheriff would see to it that that order was carried out. The janitor's detailed list of responsibilities includes oiling the windmill weekly, keeping the windows and doors open according to the time of day, and keeping the water closets in good working order, and keeping the floors swept and the spittoons clean. Now, with this iron fence in place to keep livestock off the courthouse lawn, and with a clean and orderly setting inside, the Tyler County Courthouse was open for business. Young boys vied for their turn to ring that majestic bell. It'd ring it in the morning to signal time for work to begin, and at noon to signal time for lunch. Then again, late in the afternoon, let folk know it was time to close up shop and head toward home. Well, that bell would even ring when folks accompanied a coffin on its long journey to its final resting place up on Magnolia Cemetery Hill. My dear friends, I've carried on long enough. Some folk say that I'm a bit crazy when it comes to the courthouse, but maybe so. But let the record show that I'll be crazy proud to be associated with the people who make Tyler County a place where the spirit of goodwill mixed well with a commitment to work for the common good, I say those people have an eye for the future. And may it be so with me and with thee.
Thank you, Josiah Wheat Jr. May I have my three reenactors out here just one moment. Nancy Shivers. Was portrayed tonight by Barbara Morris. Brother Henry Gaynor was portrayed by Kendall Coleman. Josiah Wheat Jr. was portrayed by Mr. Bob Boykin. And credit needs to be given to the lady standing in the doorway in the back of the hall, Ms. Eleanor Holderman, prepared the script that these people so richly delivered. Thank you. Okay. I believe that our Tyler County pioneers were courageous. They were visionary. They were good stewards. They developed the land, their faith, and they developed Tyler County. Now, we must continue their legacy. Let us be courageous and not crazy. On each of your tables tonight, you will find pledge cards. Please feel free to take one for yourself and one or more for friends who are not with us tonight. Cards may be returned by mail or dropped in the bucket right here in front of me. And yes, you can make a drop in the bucket. I would encourage you to pick these up, fill them out, turn them in, or mail them to us. At this time, I would like to introduce my friend, Mr. Mark Tolar, who will conduct our auction. Mr. Mark.
I think we should express our gratitude to Fred Sullivan for a wonderful job as our host, as our MC tonight. Thank you very, very much. Well, we're going to have some fun now, and I would tell you that I am no auctioneer, but I do love to have a good time, and I love to have fun, and that's what this part of this is all about tonight, is for us to have fun as we make a donation. It's just a fun way to do that. So a little business before we get started. Denim and Dogwoods will now move to Denim and Dollars. Denim and Dollars. And so with that said, and so we can have just a little bit of energy in the room, would you please take just a moment and stand up? Would you please stand up, and would you stretch a little bit? And would you visit with your neighbor for just a moment? Just stand up, shake them out. Get everybody to kind of wake up a little bit. We'll be ready. All right, you may be seated. Thank you very much. I have some spotters who are going to help tonight with this. And to my left will be Josh David, right over here. Josh, would you give Josh a big round of applause? Here he is. He's got the best mustache in the world, and he wears that hat pretty well. He's going to be watching this quarter right over here. And Charles Smith, where are you? Give Charles a big round of applause. He's going to be watching this part of the room over here. Chuck Davidson, right over here. Let's give Chuck a round of applause. Spotter right there. And Bob Morris, right back here. Give him a big round of applause. Now, what I would like for the spotters to do is I would like for you to make it very plain that you want the item, and I'd like for you to raise your hand, and then they're going to go, yeah! All right? Yeah! That's what we're going to do, just like that. So we're going to have a little noise there, all right? And that way we'll know. Please look at your printed program. All of these items have a minimum bid, and all of the items will start at the price listed in your printed program. Now, tonight, We need to get $20,000 apiece for these items. So I guess then, with that said, if you bought one of them for $5,000 or $10,000, you'd get a bargain tonight. So we're here tonight to raise money and certainly not to get a bargain. So thank you very, very much ahead of time for all that. If you are the winning bidder tonight, if you would see John Gazaway, and John, where are you? John is right over here. He's the guy to see, and he will be glad to take your money, I promise you. So there he is right over there. In the event of a tie or a missed bid, we will reopen with the top 2 bidders. This is a fundraiser. Does everybody understand? If we miss a bid somewhere, if I'm hung up over here and I missed one over here, then we want to certainly try to get as much as we can for these tonight. So let's have fun tonight. Thank you for all that you've done tonight. So many of you have given so much of your time, talent, and treasure already. So let's have an auction. Item up for number 1 bid, Courtney, if you would bring that up here to the front. 1882 Tyler County map, authentic reproduction of acid-free paper, floating frame with non-reflective glass. And we're going to start it off. I tell you what, why don't you just come, you can't make it down here, can you? It's kind of blocked, so come right here, all right? And in just a moment, when 2 or 3 people want this, she is just gonna work her way through the crowd, so help her out tonight. 300 where? 300, yes. Now 400, 400, 300 right over here, now 4. Now 400 where? 400 where? How about 350, would that help you? $350 where? 350. Good. Is that a bid? You've got 4 right here. I didn't hear you. Now 500. 500 where? Got 4. $500. 5. Now 600. 600 where? $600. 600. Now 700. 700 where? 7 to 7 to 7 to 7. 700. $700. 1882 map. $700. I've got 600. 700 where? 700. 700. 7 to 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 7. 700. I've got 600. What's 650 do? 650. Now 700. 700 where? You're out, big boy. 700. 700. Now 750. 750. David, how big of a boy are you? 750. Right here. You're out. 750. Now 800. 800. It's just money. $800. 800. David's got it down here. 750. 800. Oh, 850. 850. 850. Now 900. 900. Jackie, come on, goose him. 900. 850. Thank you, Lee. 850. 850. Anybody else want in? Anybody else? 850 going once. Are you sure? 850 going twice. And I sold it to Lee Mann. Let's give him a big round of applause. $850. 850. Thank you very, very much. Next item up for bid, ladies and gentlemen. I am not going to be able to do this item justice, but I will try. 1891 Tyler County Courthouse, the only print of its kind, Doretta Gilchrist watercolor painting. This is a reproduction, what I'm showing you, of the original now. Vintage frame, museum glass, scratch-resistant glass, generation watercolor paper. I talked to the framer today, and she said it would be very appropriate for me to call this a G-clay. It is a museum-quality G-clay. There are no plans to make any more of these, any more reproductions of these. This is a one-of-a-kind for tonight only, is my understanding. Did I get that right, Eleanor? I believe I did. So this right here is absolutely incredible. And I needed to say, too, that James White made the map possible earlier. Let's give James White a big round of applause. And I need to say that Judge and Miss Jacques Blanchette, Lisa and Jacques, where are you? Right here. Let's give them a big round of applause for making this possible here tonight. Okay, $500 where? 500. Now 600, 600, 600, 600, 600, 600, 600, 600, 600. Now 700, 7 to 7 to 7 to 7, 7. Now 800. Now 900. Now $1,000. 1,000. Now 1,100. 1,100. Now 1,200. 1,200. 1,200. 1,200. Now 13. Now 14. $1,400. 14. It's just money. $1,400. 14. $1,400. Now 15. You're out, Beth. Now 16. 16. 16. Now 17. $2,000. $2,000. Now 2,250. 2,250. 2,250. 2,500. 2,500. 2,500. 2,500. Now 2,750. 2,750. 2750. 2750. 2750. 2750. The bank's doing well. 2750. 2750. 2750. Now $3,000. $3,000. You have great hair. $3,000. $3,000. $3,000. You know it's dogwood time in Tyler County. $3,000. Now $3,250. Oh, come on. $3,250. One more time. $3,250 for the dogwoods. $3,250. $3,250. I'm going to sell it to him for $3,000. Last call. Anybody else want in? $3,250. I sold it. $3,000 to Fred Sullivan. Give him a big round of applause. $3,000. Amen. Fantastic. All right, Courtney. The chair. Where is the chair? Is the chair making its way? You're going to get a couple of guys to help with that. And we're going to get the chair up here on stage so we can take a good look at it. We really appreciate State Senator Robert Nichols for providing this for us tonight. Constitutional chair with state seal, Texas Senate. We'll get it up here, let everybody have a look-see. While that chair is coming up here, I want to thank Todd Pounds and Michael Roberts for what they did on sound tonight. Would you give them a big round of applause? Appreciate them very much. And here is the chair, again, donated by State Senator Robert Nichols. 500 where? $500. 5 divided by 500. Now 600. $600. $600. Now $700. 7 to 7. 700. Now 800. Thank you, Lonnie. $800. 800. Now 900. You're out. 900. Now $1,000. $1,000 where? $1,000 where? Lonnie, I've got you at 900. $1,000. $1,000. $1,000. 900. Is that a bid?
Yes, sir.
I need $1,000. I'm in at 9 with Lonnie. $1,000 where? $1,000. Thank you. Now 1,100, Lonnie. 11. Now 1,200. 1,200. 1,200. 1,200 where? 1,200. 11 with Lonnie. 1,200. $1,200. 1,200. Now 13. $1,300. Now 14. 1,400. 1,400. 1,400. Please let him do it. Let him do it. Just say yes. 1,400. I've got Lonnie at 13. 14. Now 15. 15. Now 16. 1,600. 1,600. 1,600. Look at it. 1,600. 1,600. 1,600. Please. Thank you. Now 17. 17. Now 18. 18. 18. 18, 18, 18, 18, 18, 18, 18, 18, 18, 18. I've got him at 17. Now 1,900. Now 2,000. 2,000. 2,000. 2,000. 2,000. 2,000. You did your hair today. It's awesome. 2,000. 2,000. 2,000 where? I've got Lonnie at 1,900. 2,000. It's only $100 more. $2,000.
We got it.
Thank you. Now 2,100. 2,100. Say again. I promise you, you have a great line of credit with the bank. I promise. 21, 21, 21, 21. Now 22, 22. I tell you what. If we were able to get another one of these chairs, you're in at 2,100. Friend, would you do it for 2,100? And we would double our money if we were able to get another one. We're going to contact the senator and ask him if we can do one. He's in at 21. If you'll do it for 21, we'll double our money. 21, 21, 21. He'll do it. He's going to do it. David's going to do it for 21. Is that okay with you, Lonnie? Absolutely. Sir, do you want to get in? You want to triple it? I'm almost all done now. Are you good? Okay, so you don't want to get in? All right. So you're out. So David, you're in or you're out? You're out. So David is in, Lonnie is in, 4,200. Oh, is there anybody else in the house that would like to buy one of these for 20? And I really appreciate Lonnie for sharing with David down here. We're all here to raise money tonight. I appreciate that. Anybody in the house want one for $2,100? Anybody? Steve Evans would like 10 of them. All right. Anybody else? He'll take one. All right. Thank you very much. Mr. Bobby McWilliams. So we got 3 in at $2,100. That is absolutely incredible. Would you please put your hands together? How fun that was. How fun. Okay. Item number next is item number 4, Tyler County Courthouse, artist proof, number 00, case knife. All right, donated by Marvin and Kathy Mott, Mott Wholesale Spurger. Are they here tonight? Are they here in the room anywhere? Okay. We're very grateful to them. In fact, let's go ahead and express our gratitude to them for this. It's my understanding that this was the very first one created, thus artist proof, and thus 00. So it's even better than the very first number 1. It's 00. So here we go. On the knife, look at it. It's awesome. Right here, she is with it. You can hold that up for us, Courtney. Yeah, walk around with that. That'd be great. 500 where? 500 where? Double alt. 500. 500. Yes, now 600. 600 where? $600. $600. Never needs to be resharpened. $600. $600 where? I've got $500. $600 where? It's double alt. It's the best in the set. 600 where? Would 550 help anybody? 550 anywhere in the house. I'm going to sell it. We're not going to be here all night. 550. Now 600. $600. Got 550 right down here. $600. $600. 6 to 6 to 6 to 6 to 6. Now 650. 650. One more time. 650. 650. 650. 650. 650. She's hiding behind the flowers. She's getting a little bit lower. I'm going to sell it. Last call, 650, show it to her, let her touch it, hug it, love it, feel it just a little bit. 650, I think you passed her right up, but that's okay. She's right here, right there. Yes, Courtney, thank you. 650, I've got 600 back here, and I sold it. $600 right back here. What's the name? Keith Fortenberry. Didn't even see him back there. Give him a big round of applause. He dresses up good. Thank you, Keith. $600. Thank you very, very much. Our last item tonight is donated by U.S. Congressman and Mrs. Brian Babin. Commemorative map of the Republic of Texas, 1845. Authentic reproduction of the map created for this event, actually for the Texas Sesquicentennial celebration. So let's start it off at 300, and let's make this one bring 20 grand, all right? 300 where? 300. $300. 300. Now 400. 400. Now 500. Now 600. $600 where? 600. I'm at 500 right here. 600. Now 7. Now 8. 800. 800. 800. 800. 800. 800. 800. Now 9. Now $1,000. $1,000, Josh. $1,000. 1,000. I'm at 900 right here. 900. I need a $1,000 bill. 1,000. 1,000, 1,000, 1 and a 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 1,000. I'm at, would 950 help? Would 950 help? 950. I'm going to sell it to Trey. 950. Now 1,000. Now 1,100. $1,100. 1,100 where? 1,100. I've got 1,000 right here. It's going to cost you 1,100. Trey's been staying with me. 1,100. 1,100. 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11. Going once. Anybody else want in? And I sold it your way, Trey Austin, for $1,000. Give him a big round of applause right there. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and don't forget tonight to see John Gazaway. All right? Thank you so much.
And our big spender of the night, Fred Sullivan. Give him a Thank you, Mark. Thank all of you for your participation in the auction. As we conclude this evening, I would remind you of Tyler County on tour. For many of you, there are tickets and armbands on your table in the envelope. Don't leave here without them. Be sure and remember this and visit these interesting places tomorrow between the hours of 10 and 4. If you need a ticket, Charles and Wanda Smith will be at the door as you leave tonight. You can get a ticket there. You can get a ticket at any of the 3 locations tomorrow. I thank you for your attendance here tonight, and I invite you to join me on the courthouse lawn at this time next year for the 2nd annual Denim and Dogwoods Courthouse Gala. I bid you good night. Please drive safely. Good night.